All right, y'all, we're on to the last platinum red. Um, this is the Cador Amarone de Valpolicella, the Nerofusco line. And yeah, we're moving back into big dogs, even in this unconventional time. But this was just such a phenomenal wine that we wanted to bring it to you, even if it does have that big dog category. But believe me, it'll be worth it. So, this guy, Amarone de Valpolicella, probably forgotten amongst the mess of Italian collector reds, but definitely up there with some of the more collectible, ageable wines in the world. So this is from the, as the name would suggest, the Valpolicella region. Overall, the DOCG specifically is Amarone de Valpolicella. This is a blend of mostly Corvina, which is probably seen as the most important grape in that entire Veneto region, specifically because of this wine. And it's because of its super intensive production process. So once the grapes are harvested, they're left to dry on either straw mats or in these little wooden boxes in this case until they raisin almost. And so what that does is it removes moisture from the grape and ends up concentrating the sugars, the phenolic compounds, and the overall flavor. So what that results in, and then on top of that, it goes through 30, in this case, 36 months in oak, right? So really intensive oak aging process, which is why 2014, it's not, I'm not sure if it's the most current vintage, but it's close. So what that results in are these just hilariously bold wines with high alcohol. When you concentrate the sugars, more sugars for the yeast to eat, then you get more alcohol overall. But also concentrates all those flavors down and just ends up making what I would consider one of the benchmarks for a bold red wine lover, right? So I'm gonna pour a little bit in here, just a little bit more. Yeah, because it's a whopping 16% on this bad boy, and that is not uncommon. So when we look at it, you see the telltale signs of intense aging. You get a definite bricking towards the outside, and it's overall a more garnet hue. It's kind of getting some orange tints in there. But again, when you age a wine this long, that's what happens. See how on the nose you get like kind of this baked earth, kind of tilled soil thing going on? You get a little bit of cherries, and I even get kind of this pheno sherry note overall, which in some cases might be a bad sign. With this, I think it's indicative of the aging and just how intense it was. And it's not like it's pruny or anything, but there's just a sweetness to it, like a baked sweetness to this overall. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, so if you're a bold red wine lover, there aren't that many wines that'll scratch that itch as well as Amarone can. The red fruits in this, there's just a plethora of baked, kind of macerated red fruits. And when I say macerated, almost mixed with spirits, like that kind of thing going on. You don't get that pheno sherry note anymore. That was only really on the nose. It's very pure in its core of fruit. Tannins, well integrated, but there to be sure. Um, the acidity, really well integrated, zingy, keeps the whole thing lively, stops it from being bogged down. I mean, it's full bodied, it's rich. You taste the 16% alcohol, but it's not hot in any way, shape, or form. And that's really one of the magical things about Amarone, is it manages to get that ABV on it, and it's just not hot whatsoever. So I feel like this is kind of a red wine that transcends different levels of like richness overall. You know, initially I would think like steak, but honestly, you might want to do this with something even richer, like braised red meat pasta dishes with like foie gras, just something just unmistakably rich, because this would complement it immensely. And it is just a super fun big dog wine to bring onto the list this month.